Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Cecil. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Well, I'm just getting over a cold, as you can hear.
Oh, so am I. I mean, I have a 2-year-old, so I'm just always either just getting a cold or getting over a cold. So,
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you for being a part of I Am the Comic Book. I was so happy to be wearing. It's you can't really see
yay!
it, but a little
Oh, it's
bit.
just fading.
Yeah. Chapter 9 of I Am the Comic Book. Um, so I ask everybody the same four questions. So my first thing is, will you introduce yourself? Who are you? And how do we know each other?
Well, my name's Rachel Smith. I'm a comic writer and artist from the UK in Manchester. And I'm probably best known for making comics about mental health and autobiographical comics about mental health. Um, I had a book called Quarantine Comics, which was my diary throughout the pandemic, which a lot of people found very relatable. And I've got books like Wired Up Wrong and Stand in Your Power about just general mental health. I also worked on Doctor Who comics for 3 years for Titan, which was great. I had a lot of fun and opened a lot of doors for me. And yeah, that's me.
We know each other because we're on a little writers group, sort of
Yes.
comics writers group kind of list together. And I'm
Yeah,
so glad to meet you through there.
me too.
So what did you think of the project I Am the Comic Book when I proposed it to you? Like what made you excited about joining in?
Um, the fact that it was you and you're very cool. And I jumped at the prospect of working with you on something. And it was a project I'd never heard of anything like it before. Um, yeah, it just really got my imagination going about how you were going to do this thing and how many cool people were already involved. Yeah, I keep meaning to ask you, how long do the tattoos last on you?
So they last about 2 weeks. I mean,
Okay.
this is like day 10.
Okay, cool.
And it kind of depends on like, have I taken a lot of hot baths? And like, so,
Mm.
or have I
And much wild
flashed,
swimming or
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But it's pretty cool. It's like pretty much 2 weeks. And, it's hard during winter because like not as many people kind of like see it because like I'm wearing long sleeves, especially here in
Yeah.
Montreal and stuff. But yeah, I think the cool thing about it is that like you and I haven't worked together yet, but
Mm.
but this is kind of like an easy way to work with a lot of people that I really admire and love
Yeah.
because it's not it's not too time consuming,
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
you could do it, right? You could fit it in your schedule.
Yeah, it was great. And it was the script was really easy to understand and gave me enough information without telling me exactly what to draw. So it was nice to have a little bit of wiggle room about how I interpreted that.
Well,
Uh,
speaking of which, like let's talk about that. What did you think of the prompt that you got and also my directive? Because everybody before you had started getting really complicated. And I was starting to freak out a little bit because I was like, my skin isn't paper, it's getting too complicated, too detailed. I mean, surprisingly, they did hold up pretty well on my arm, but I was so glad when you gave such a like geographical one with the stars and stuff. Um,
mm,
what did you think of the prompt? Because I'm finding that it's a little bit difficult with, it's not a regular comic book. I can't really have words there. It's not really a story. It's an exquisite corpse kind of game
mm,
that I'm playing with all these artists. So it's kind of hard to come up with prompts that are enough for 3 panels, but also aren't too much. I think yours was like they enter the pyramid they see
Mm.
stars and they fall to the planet, right?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, to me that was perfect for the three panels. And I think in your when you sent me the prompt in your email, you actually said like, my skin isn't paper. Like, please try and keep it like as simple as possible. So I decided to really, really strip it down. And yeah, I think that's where as an artist, especially me, like trying to show off a little bit and trying to look good, there is this sense of like I must put as much detail as possible then. Like, and that's not always the best way with comics, obviously. Like everything needs to be telling a story, and so you don't necessarily need to draw every blade of grass if it's like in a forest or something like that. Because people are going to be looking at your comics panel for, seconds, if that. So yeah, it was quite refreshing to have that in the back of my mind. Like I have to keep this simple. I have to, yeah, keep this very slick, and every line has to count, if you know what I mean. Like every line has to justify its being there. Because,
Well, yeah, I mean it's interesting because it's also ephemeral, right? It's
mm,
not like a normal comic book where it's like people will be able to look at it over and over and over again. I mean, sure, like
mm,
publish it on the Instagram, but it's, you know what I mean? Like it fades, it
yeah,
fades really quickly. And it's like it really is like an ephemeral piece of art that's in the now, And so
mm,
I think even for me, there's this sense of like putting it down and letting it go at the same time. You know what I mean? And I'm sure it's the same for you.
yeah, that's nice. I mean, it kind of it's kind of this being precious about it because it doesn't last very long, but also not being too precious about it because it doesn't last very long. And it's that weird relationship with the piece of work that you don't really get any in any other way. Um, I don't know. How's it been for you having it on your arm for 2 weeks?
I mean, I love it. My dad loved this one. He was like, oh, so
Oh,
beautiful. Like, I mean, he's loved them all, but like this one, he was just like, oh, it's stunning. It's stunning.
oh,
It just really looked so good. I really wish you could have seen it in
yeah,
But but I hope you've been looking at the pictures, because I think it gives kind of a good idea of like what it looks like and how it sort of deteriorates over time. I'm
mm,
having like a strange relationship with the whole thing because on the one hand, like I want people to know about it, like because I think it's such a cool project and I feel like people do know about it, but also people don't know about it. It's like sometimes
mm,
I'm like, but this is a cool thing that I'm doing and it's so ephemeral. I want more people to like be engaged with it. But also it's like I kind of that's why I was saying like that sort of putting it down and letting it go kind of thing, where
mm,
it is just the vibe of making art. It's just there. And some people don't know that they've even encountered it. And some people are excited
yeah.
and pull my arm and say, oh, let me see. Do you have one on now?
I
So it's
love that. And like people who sorry, this is meant to be an interview with me, and I'm asking those questions. Like, are
conversation.
there people who are like your dad? Does he sort of go, "Oh, it's been 2 weeks. I need to see the next comic. Can you come over, or can I go for dinner with you?" Or
Well,
have
I
you
mean,
found yourself going out more to see people because you want them to see it?
it's hard because it's like, I've had like a lot of upheaval in my life. My mom died recently.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that, Cecil.
It's horrible. Thank you. So, I've been in Montreal, not really wanting to go out, feeling really like antisocial. It's
Mm,
super cold here. It's so cold. And my dad actually sees it the most because I go over to his house for dinner like 3 times a week. Like I'll be like,
mm,
writing all day and then I walk over to his house and we share dinner together. So he's
nice.
actually the one who's seen it the most. It's more like uh, there are people who know about it who are my friends who when I see them, like I was just in New York and they were like, okay, pull up your sleeve, let me see. And because they know that it's happening and they've been following along And
Yeah.
and so they kind of, it's sort of art on demand, you know? And then there are other people, like I've said before, where I'll be at a restaurant, especially in summer, you know, when I've got my arm up and people kind of look at it. And if they see it like this, they think, oh my God, like that lady's got an ugly, ugly tattoo, you know? But when it's first on and it's like super, super dark, people are like, especially people with like sleeve tattoos are like, oh,
Yeah.
your tattoo, you know? And I'm like, oh, can I tell you about it? You know?
I love that. And that's a whole new audience that maybe wouldn't have seen the comic if you'd have produced it, normally.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so cool.
So yeah, it is pretty cool. So I'm so glad that you are a part of it because I think it's really fun to be able to work with people that I haven't worked with before, but
Mm.
also to, like I've been saying to a lot of other artists that I've been interviewing about this, is like it's a chance for us to play. And I think that like we're always as artists like worried about the hustle and like work and like what's our career and blah blah blah. That like this is just really, I mean, play.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I've loved being involved. It was, yeah, a real joy to make it for you.
Okay, now what is coming up next for you? What like where can people find you and what are you working on now? You're doing Nap Comics? Yeah.
I am doing Nap Comics. Yeah, Nap Comics is my current autobiographical project, which is just about being a new mum, really. If I can still call myself a new mum when
Of
my
course.
kid's two, yeah, it's newish. Um, and just my joy and struggles with doing that. So yeah, you can see that on Webtoon for free if you search Nap Comics, so NAPCOMIX. You should find that. I put it on my Instagram and things like that as well. I'm also working on Who Killed Nessie, which is my new graphic novel written by Paul Cornell, which should be out in September by Avery Hill Publishing. So we're very excited about that. I'm having a lot of fun. It's basically a whodunit with cryptids. And yeah, so I'm just drawing mythical monsters and having the best time. So that's very, very fun. Yeah, anything else? RachelSmith.org is my website that has all my stuff on it. And it's Rachel spelt the awkward way, AEL.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me. I'm so
Thank
glad that you're a part
you.
of the project,
Me
Chapter
too. Thanks
9.
so much for having me. Yeah. Oh, bye, comic. You're almost done.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording, but we're still going
Okay.
to. Bye.
Well, bye.